Thinking about studying abroad, but can't decide between Germany and the UK? Well, hold on, because the differences might shock you. From tuition fees and job opportunities to postgraduate visas and PR paths, we are breaking it all down so you can make the best decisions. Stay to the end for a pro tip on which country gives you the best value for your degree. Let's dive in. Now, the first point is tuition fee. Now, as we all know, I've said this many times in my video. When it comes to Germany, public universities in Germany mostly offer tuition-free courses. However, cities like Baden-Württemberg or private universities in Germany, of course, you pay tuition fees. But most public universities are free. You don't need to pay nada. The only thing you are paying is, like I said, your semester fee, which is 72 euros or between 150 to 310 euros, depending on the city that you are living. The bigger the city, the more you pay. The smaller the city, of course, you are paying lesser. However, if it's in the UK, you are paying almost between £15,000 to £38,000, depending on the school, depending on the city. That's so expensive. So most schools, in fact, all schools in UK, they are not free. It's very, very expensive to study in the UK. And on top of that, most British citizens, they even go into student loan, and they end up in a lot of student debts, which is not the case when it comes to the German system, because they believe that education is a fundamental human right of everybody. So that's one major difference between universities in the UK and universities in Germany. It's completely free. Public university is completely free in Germany. However, in the UK, it's so expensive. You are paying between £15,000 to £38,000, depending on the school. The second point is working hours. Now, in Germany, as an international student, by law, you are only allowed to work 20 hours in a week on a part-time basis. So which means in a month, you have a total of 80 hours to work. You cannot do more than that, unfortunately. Unless, of course, maybe you have a mini job during the holidays. But generally, by law, you are only allowed to work 80 hours in a month, which breaks down to 20 hours per week. The same rule applies in the UK. You are only allowed to work 20 hours in a week, and in total 80 hours in a month. However, during the holidays, you can work full-time. You can work as many hours as you want, as long as your employer is willing to give you the shift to work. So that's the major difference between working in UK and working in Germany. So as an international student, of course, this benefits people that are in the UK, because now you have more time to make more money, especially during the holidays, and you can have enough money to save and do whatever you want to do with it. However, in Germany, that's not the case. By law, if you work more than that, Finanzamt, or like in English they call it tax office, they are going to send you an email to tell you that you've exceeded your working hours and therefore you have to stop working. So that you run the risk of, getting into big trouble with the Finanzamt in Germany. So as a student in Germany, you are limited to 20 hours in a week, max 80 hours in a month on a part-time basis. But in the UK, there's flexibility. You can work 20 hours in a week or 80 hours in a month, but during the holidays, you can work as much as you want. So that's the difference between, international students working in the UK compared to the ones working in Germany. The third point is the language. As we all know, Germany is a German-speaking country, which means English is not the official language in Germany. German or Deutsch is the official language in Germany. English and other languages are secondary languages. So if you are coming to Germany, you have to learn German as an international student. For you to be able to move, even if your course is in English language, you have to learn German, which is compulsory. I've said this many times in my video. For you to get a job, navigate, network, and do many things, German is absolutely necessary for you to have an easy landing in Germany. However, because we have so many English-speaking international students, it's only normal that they will gravitate towards the UK, because UK, of course, English is the official language, and everywhere you go, everybody speaks English. So it's easier for international students, to integrate into the system. They don't have to go through the stress of learning a completely different language. They can easily just, go there and just integrate easily. So that's a bonus for the UK, because the language favors the UK compared to Germany. So that's one thing that I feel like is a really big difference when people are choosing where to go. Is it Germany or UK? The language is a very, very key thing for international students. So Depending on where you're coming from, this is something I need to have in mind. When you're coming to Germany, even though the course might say English, you need German. Unfortunately, you need German. Well, it's not unfortunate anyway. You need German. It's not unfortunate. Sorry, I take that back. You need German to integrate into the system. So learn German before you come to Germany. At least have basics, so it's going to be easier for you. And of course, it makes sense. Why would you go to a country and then you don't want to speak the language? It makes a lot of sense. So when you're coming to Germany, make sure you understand German if you want to come to Germany. But if you don't want to go through the headache of learning a new language, then of course you know where to go. UK is there waiting for you. Now the next point is the post-study visa. In Germany, after you're done with your studies, automatically you get 18-month visa extension to look for a job in Germany. You don't need to pay for anything. It's automatic. You just go to Ausländer Behörde and tell them you want to apply for your post-study visa, and then they will give it to you. It's 18 months automatically. However, in the UK, it's a completely different scenario. You have to pay for it. It's not free. Of course, you get a 2 years post-study visa, but it's not free. I think you have to pay almost £2,000 just to get this visa. So that's the difference between Germany and UK. In Germany, once you are done with your studies, automatically you are granted an extension of 18 months to look for a job. Of course, if you don't get a job within that 18 months, then you have to go back home to wherever you came from. But at least you have that opportunity to extend your visa for another 18 months, which is, like I said, automatic. You are not paying for it. The government will give it to you automatically to look for a job. And of course, within that 18 months, if you have a solid grasp of the language and you tailor your CV very well, like I explained in one of my videos of how to look for a job in Germany. If you can follow those steps, then of course you have a very high chance. But in the UK, you have to apply for the 2 years post-study visa, which they will give you, but it's not free. You have to pay for it, and it's very, very expensive. It costs you at least about £2,000. So that's one thing that you need to take into consideration. Now the next point is the PR pathway. Now in Germany, depending on the kind of job that you get, if you are earning above 43,000 euros in a year, then you are eligible to EU Blue Card. So this EU Blue Card, what this means is that you can work anywhere within EU, which means if you get a job in Spain, you don't need to apply for a new visa. You can just go with your EU Blue Card. If you get a job in Belgium or Italy or Sweden, as long as it's an EU country, the EU Blue Card covers you anywhere within the EU. So that's the advantage of the EU Blue Card. And if you have German up to B1 level, after 21 months, you are already eligible for permanent residence in Germany. So that's the good thing about the PR pathway in Germany. It is easier and it is faster. If you are not earning up to 43,000 euros in a year, then you get the PR after 2 years, as long as you have B1 certificate, or as long as you have a German proficiency of up to B1 level. After 24 months, you can apply for the PR, which is 2 years. However, in the UK, it's completely different. Now, firstly, you need a job that's going to sponsor you. Not just anyhow job. You can get a job, but if the job is not willing to sponsor you, it's a big problem in the UK. So if you get a job that's willing to sponsor you, then you'll be eligible for PR after 5 years. So that's the difference between UK and Germany. In Germany, once you get a job, it doesn't matter. If the job is above 43,000 euros in a year, then as long as you have German proficiency up to B1 level, after 21 months, you can apply for permanent residency, which they will give you. However, if your job is not up to 43,000 in a year, but it's a full-time job, then as long as you have German proficiency up to B1 level, after 2 years, you are eligible to apply for permanent residency. But in UK, it's the opposite. You firstly need a job that's willing to sponsor you. Not all jobs in UK will sponsor you. That's another thing. So you have to look for a job that's willing to sponsor you. When you get that, you have to wait for 5 years before you are eligible for permanent residency. So that's the difference between Germany and UK. Now the last point is the cost of living. As an international student in Germany, if you earn between 850 to 1,300 euros, you will live a very comfortable life. So which simply means that to live comfortably in Germany, you need between 850 euros to 1,300 euros every month, depending on how big or how small your city is. Of course, the bigger your city, the more money you need. The smaller your city, the less money you need. But between 850 to 1,300 euros is going to be enough for you to live comfortably in Germany, regardless of how big or how small your city is. But in UK is a bit expensive. Now you need between £1,000 to £2,500 on a monthly basis to survive and live comfortably in the UK. Again, it depends on how big or how small the city is. So these are the things that you need to take into consideration before picking a country of your own choosing. So if you want affordable education, long-term PR benefit, cheaper cost of living, and you don't mind learning German, then in my opinion, Germany is the best option for you. However, if you prefer an English-speaking environment, faster admission process, and easy job access, then UK is the preferred destination for you. So which country do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to know how to gain admission into German universities for free, click on this video right here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.